Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, February 25th, and we are going to start our prep here for the ES today. With Trump speaking yesterday, we did have our insurance providers pattern in play. Today, we have consumer confidence and can watch for the same again. But after that, we just have Fed speakers, which haven't seen the insurance buying play in advance. So the calendar gets more favorable until Wednesday afternoon for NVIDIA earnings. So we'll dive into some of reviewing yesterday and laying out what we're looking for today. First, a quick reminder that derivatives trading is inherently risky and past performance is not indicative of future returns. So, if we look at what happened yesterday, in terms of our levels, our rotational low was at 60.43. And once we broke that at the open, we made our push lower, stopping 3 points shy of our lower target level. And that was also from our weekly COT levels. Our mid-level pivot was at the high of the open at 60.60. And once we broke that, we went to our weekly rotational low. Now we're below that this morning, breaking down, looking for that 59.56 as our next COT level target on the weekly basis. But following these different trading timeframes also gives us different levels to pay attention to. And if we look at what happened yesterday in the market, we had ahead of the market open, no insurance being played, nobody with any concerns ahead of Trump's meeting with the French president, with anything from the press conference. And by 10:30, we had overinsurance in play. So when we look at our charts and we want to understand what happens, this is that insurance buying. And then by 10:30, that is over because we hit our upside target on the insurance buying. So now we look for that unwind to happen and those insurance providers to start moving the market higher to collect their premium. And we see the number start dropping by noon. And then by 1 o'clock, we are now no longer overinsured and just where we need to be. And that is the washing machine that takes us right up to our high of the day during RTH after the opening high, our midday high, right at our 1 o'clock time frame. So when we had that ending, then we cleared the path for the downside. And several of our students played this and our educators played this on the move down at the start of the day for 60 to 70 points. And then again at the end of the day for the next leg lower. And these insurance plays become very reliable because it's the way the business is conducted, and you can follow the money and understand what the bids and offers are going to be because at the end of the day, the stock market is still a business. And so for today, while we are looking for our rotational price action between 59.78 and 60.45, our pivot is 60.14, which is also where our Globex high is. And we are still under our line in the sand. So we have more of a favor towards the downside than the upside, but just by a little bit. It's just telling us that the moves are likely to be larger and cleaner than they have been. And from our systematics and positioning standpoint, we are about 85% invested now. So we've seen a drop in the overall capital outlay of our strategies that we monitor. And we have the same thing as yesterday. Not really anything between 59.55 and 60.45, oscillating between about a $100 million bid and a $600 million offer, which when we talk about $6 and $7 billion on the tails, those numbers aren't really that much. So we get to a $3 billion offer if we get below 60.55 or over 59.55 or over 60.45. So those $3 billion offers would be more resistance or fuel for the downside if we come back down there. So there is reason to watch for defense to come in if we start to make pushes lower, and that is right at our lower pivot level for this morning. And so we are going to watch for that insurance play ahead of consumer confidence. And then from our market maker standpoint, again, we are below our line in the sand with our major levels at this 59.64 and 60.15, where again, when we look at the amount of capital that's outlaid there, we are looking at $3.5 to $5 billion at these larger areas. And so those are the ones we're going to watch more closely. And again, that 60/14 is right at our mid pivot level. So that is going to help us to see a lot in terms of the day and in terms of our rotational price action expectations versus breaking out and looking more for a trend. So we will dive into this again tomorrow, and we will post in our rooms a midday update tomorrow ahead of NVIDIA earnings, along with NASDAQ levels that if you want to trade the earnings after the bell, you'd be able to. And you can also go back to some of our older videos where we did live trading on these before for an easy 100 to 300 points after the bell with very high odds, low risk. So check those out. We will link that video as well in along with this. And have a great day trading and be sure to control your risk. That is the number one thing that we control.